After chasing off the other Mashabin brother, this hyena came storming in, and this happened.
There's a big male leopard.
He's still alive. Have you seen where he was?
Just one is killed. Just to fight for it. Run. Hey, Mr. Mapong Guaralis. Mapong Guaralis. Whenever. This will run, Mr. You get the shot.
A leopard and fighting for a baboon.
Is that the hyena making that noise?
Yeah, that's the hyena making that noise.
Here comes
another
another
hyena coming.
hyena.
Now they're gonna win. Now they're...
That leopard is so pissed.
I'd be, yeah.
Yeah, the leopard.
Because usually hyenas aren't.
But what he has to do...
There comes the leopard again.
Taken this claw up the tree before
Right.
the hyenas came.
Oh, and he couldn't do that.
He could have taken it up the tree. Don't know why he continued dragging it, but he killed a baboon. This is a baboon.
He could have. He could drag that up a tree.
Yeah, he could have. He used to take that up.
How old do you think is a leopard? It's young or not?
Yeah, the young one, not at all.
No, I can't. I don't know.
He doesn't have a chance now, right?
Yeah.
Because they'll eat it all or take it away.
Yeah, 2 against 1.
2 against 1, it ain't happening.
This is a young male leopard, but you know, managed to put a fight against one hyena. His father is lost most of his job.
He's what?
Most of
Guys following.
yeah, just following. There's a leopard, yeah. There is a shark there. And there is just behind the tree.
All of them.
Hey,
I think he
Yeah,
should
come on.
take down one of the hyenas. He killed one hyena.
Can you kill a hyena?
Yeah, leopard can kill a hyena.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
this
is
is
it-
quite a very young male.
But he would, the other one would turn on him, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I'm pretty Hawaii.
Oh,
I'm cool.
Whoa!
then they do look you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Look at all the innards.
Oh, God. Oh, did the leopard leave?
He's over there.
Oh, yeah. See one leopard every day.
ja,
Ja, doe maar.
komt ie.
Look,
Never see this one. No.
Really?
No, really. Very special.
the lion really looks like he's going to make a move. Look at him creeping around.
Look at how he moves.
That's how he killed the baboon. He's so sweet.
He's gonna make a shot at this.
How is he planning on doing that?
This is awesome. Watch it. Leopard get closer.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, he wasn't afraid at all. Oh, goodness.
What?
Oh, wow. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Oh, look.
He got everything, eh?
By the fun big and security. There comes the other.
Good.
Look for a tree. Look for a tree and go up.
What, they're from hyenas?
Look for a tree. Big, big, big. Manage.
Yeah!
Whoa. Oh my God.
How the hyena lost?
Oh, she got.
He lost. Why would the hyena do that? How is that weird or not?
How?
Why would
The hyena?
they? Right?
Oh, she got.
They had a full stomach.
This is unbelievable.
Oh, no. Ja. Jongen, jongen.
Going up higher. That would have been perfect. You could have seen the head of the baboon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we looking at? What does he have?
The head of the baboon is right there underneath him.
Oh, I'm so glad he won. It's like the perfect ending. Like the happy ever.
I think I just heard his neck break. His brother's underneath.
Oh, now it's going to bite the leopard.
Oh, he's like man down.
Oh, look out. They got one.
French.
This is like beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he went up there.
Good thing I had to take this from you. Clear my job and just go to school.
Well, his butt was in my face.
Hold on.
Look at his butt in the rain.
Photos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. How can I breathe underwater?
You go back above and get air the same way you do.
They hold their breath longer.
Hold your breath.
You gotta be good.
You hear
Look
me?
at going froggy.
Not really weak. Look how they got
Oh, he's killing him.
it. Man, he holding him under this. Oh, they going at it. Look, he like, let go.
Oh, I think he's
He not even a headlock.
They play fighting.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be good.
They gotta get air.
He's not letting that one get air, Dad.
He got some. He got his head up there.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
We're both getting there.
Look, that one tried to push that one away.
All right.
My brother doesn't have his camera up.
This cobra here is found in the rubble here of my garden, and that's very common. You often find cobras in situations like this. And it's an amazing snake. Most people think it's one of the most aggressive snakes. They think that this is a snake that will intentionally attack you. It'll go for you. That's not aggression. That snake's merely trying to warn me off. It's standing up so that I can see it, and I'm supposed to now move away from it. If I move around it here, you'll see how it follows me. It's, of course, going to follow every step that I make. Snakes respond to movement, the cobra especially. I'm going to show you something really interesting here. This cobra's really warning me with its hood. And if I grab it really gently and restrain it, hold it like this for a moment, once the snake feels that it's completely overpowered, once it feels that it cannot do anything else, that it cannot move away from me, cannot spread its hood, biting's not working, it may do something which is going to really interest you. It may pretend to be dead. And even if I move my hand over it, it's responding completely differently to the way it was a moment ago. Isn't that incredible? Snakes are so fascinating.
Snakes are reptiles most of us prefer not to meet. And they're wary of us, too, which is why they hiss or rattle to warn us off. Such warnings are ignored at our peril. But a snake will only bite in defense, and only if it feels gravely threatened. It's easy to imagine the snake as an aggressor, the snake in the grass, a deadly foe. But why does this image send a shiver of fear down our spines? In shape and movement, they are so different from us that legend and folklore have given them a sinister reputation they don't really deserve. How can we understand an animal that smells with its tongue? Or that hears with its whole body, sensing vibrations? The hypnotic stare of its unblinking eye can seem as alien as its apparent rebirth through the shedding of its skin, sloughed off like a scaly ghost of itself. Among them are giants that storybooks say are 100 feet long and ready to strangle unwary jungle explorers. And yet, there is this little guy, a thread snake, very friendly and not deadly at all. There is even beauty and grace in some as they go upon their bellies, silently through the trees. But where did snakes come from? An animal that looked much like some other reptiles alive today. It's hard to believe that snakes have anything in common with creatures like this. But in fact, every reptile descended from the same ancestor. This primitive ancestor led to two groups of animals, turtles and all other reptiles. All through the age of the dinosaurs and during the emergence of lizards, snakes were nowhere to be seen. But there were legless lizards, and it was from these that snakes evolved. For 110 million years, they have been living side by side with other reptiles. Today, there are more than 2,500 different species of snake. Hidden within their bodies, vestiges remain of the legs they lost. But snakes, with a skull, backbone, and a multitude of ribs, are able to move quickly in several ways. The serpentine crawl of the cobra. Most snakes move like this. The movement creates little ridges in the ground, which the snake pushes against to propel itself forward. When you're short and fat, like this puff adder, throwing cobra-style loops is impossible. Instead, the muscles act on the ribs. As the ribs move, the snake's scales grab hold of the ground, and with a series of rhythmical contractions, the snake rows along in the sand. The famous sidewinder favors the serpentine wave, and like the cobra, it can push itself against the ridges it nudges up in the sand. By moving sideways, it needs only 2 points of contact on the very hot sand. At any one time, most of its body is held in the air. Legs? Who needs them? There are different problems for a tree-climbing python in a rainforest. To reach across a gap, it can stiffen sections of its body, becoming its own ladder from branch to branch. This sinuous and flattened body, with its broad tail working like an oar, could be mistaken for an eel. But this is no fish. It's a sea snake. Most snakes can swim, though even the sea snake must interrupt its hunting now and then for a breath of air at the surface. As hunters, in water or on land, snakes are silent and efficient killers. A rattlesnake has more than its bite to work with. Its tongue constantly tastes the air, scenting for prey. Its body senses ground vibrations, even the footsteps of a mouse. Standing still is no defense. The rattler is also able to sense body heat.